Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Halloween. We're live?
We are.
Are we on? Okay, great. Well, hey, so I want to be the first to welcome you to the Halloween baking session live on Facebook. And I want to thank Fetch Pet Care for inviting me to do this. We're going to do something really fun and innovative today. We're going to bake. I'm going to show you one of my famous recipes. I mean, I've been perfecting this recipe for years, and so I'm just giving it to you as a gift. You'll really love it. I think you'll love it. It's something that you can make at home. Feel free to make this along with me this morning, or of course this will be recorded so you can play it back. We'll make sure we put all the information in the comments as well. Feel free to ask me questions. This is interactive, so I've got the whole team here that will be asking questions on your behalf as they come through. So I'm really excited about that. And today we're going to make my Barkin Brownie, my famous Barkin Brownie Halloween edition, which is something really special. So with the Barkin Brownie, what we're going to do is, first, it's going to be wheat-free. Second, I'm going to walk you through the steps. We're going to condense this, so we won't actually wait the 20 minutes for it to cook in the oven, so you don't have to go through that painstaking addition. I have some team members here that are helping me that work really hard at the dog bakery every single day. And speaking of the dog bakery, that's where we are baking. I am at my master kitchen in Los Angeles on Venice Boulevard at the dog bakery. There are multiple stores if you're in the LA area, or you can order online. Here's my suggestion. I've definitely been in the kitchen enough to know that even sometimes the most well laid out recipe can go wrong. So if you're making this at home and it doesn't work out just right, you can go to thedogbakery.com and you can order the Barkin Brownie, and and then that'll make it just as easy, and you can show it off to your friends, and you can even tell them you made it. I won't say anything. Or if you don't have the time, or you don't think being in the kitchen is your forte, feel free to order them online. So make sure you do that. I'll put the link below in the comments so that you can do that. And again, one more time before we get started, I want to thank Fetch Pet Care for doing this. And also, just a suggestion, I don't know why you wouldn't ask your dog sitter or dog walker, anyone who's working at Fetch Pet Care, to go ahead and watch this recipe and make brownies for your dog. So, all right, I hope I just got a lot of people now owing brownies to their dogs. Okay, so let's get started. First, I want to show you kind of the layout and what we have here and go through some of the ingredients. Now, as with anything, when you're cooking in your kitchen, you are the master chef, so feel free to alter this, tailor it, add things. There are so many different ways to cook things like these up. This is just my way of doing it, but feel free to alter it to make it specific to your dog. All right. First, I want to show you the base ingredient that we use. Now, you can use things like wheat, like rice flour, but what I really like using, because it's wheat-free, is a couple different things. Simple ingredients. I'll show you right down here. So, first, we're going to use buckwheat, and while it is wheat-free, it has wheat in the name, but it's buckwheat, which is obviously a little bit different. We have right here. That's your buckwheat. All right, we have honey. Honey. Now, note with the honey, I'm a big fan of clover honey. It's a small difference, but to me it gives just a little bit different of a taste, a little more sweetness, because we're not using sugar in there. So I'm a big fan of clover honey if you can find it. If you can't, the other honey works just fine, but if you can, that's my favorite. Okay, we also have some oil. We have an egg, just a fresh cracked egg. I love farm fresh eggs. Those work out fantastic. It's got the right color. And then we have baking powder, just a little bit, not much right there. So one egg, a little bit of baking powder, and a cup of water. The water will help obviously give it the correct moisture. And so then it's very simple. We'll put all of those and we'll mix them in the bowl. So you're going to need a mixing bowl. While you're at it, you're going to need to get a brownie pan ready. Now, I went ahead and sprayed that brownie pan. I like to use natural spray, but whatever you have at home, you can use. And then the other thing that we'll use for the toppers later, I'll get into a little bit more, is going to be carrot carob, and then orange chips. I'll talk more about those in a little bit. So while I start mixing the ingredients, I would love if you guys have any questions on kicking this recipe off, any questions about the dog bakery, Fetch Pet Care. I can try to answer those questions. Anything about my dog, Flip, Zoe, Snoop, any questions you have for me, feel free to ask away while I mix these things up. And also, I want to know what you're dressing your dog up as Halloween, or if your dog will even put up with that. My guys are pretty good at it. Flip, he loves being dressed up in outfits. So does my little Min Pin Chihuahua mix, Snoop. But Zoe, as soon as you put a costume on her, she's kind of a mixed mutt, and she's got a personality. And as soon as you put a Halloween costume on her, she just freezes, and she doesn't move. So it's funny. I don't keep the costume on her for too long because she does not like it. All right, let's mix up these ingredients. Let me know, team, what questions do we have? All right, come right here with me for ingredients.
For small parrots.
You know what? I don't have any recipes for small parrots. With a lot of people ask me too, do these recipes work for cats or other animals? You know, in general, yes, right? Because what we're doing is we're just making it. It's less what you're putting in there and versus what you're not putting in there, right? A parrot shouldn't be eating McDonald's. Sometimes neither should we, right? So it's more so what you're not putting in the ingredients. Your doctor would much rather have you eating the treat that I'm making here than an Oreo cookie, because it's got so much in it. Obviously, everything in moderation, no problem. I'm the first to grab an Oreo cookie sometimes on a weekend night, but with parrots, as long as you're using wholesome ingredients, you know, I would definitely do a little research. I don't even know, but do a research as to what could be harmful to parrots. For example, if you were feeding your dog something healthy and it had chocolate in it, that can be harmful to a dog. So make sure you research that. And that goes for any pet, with cats, parrots, any pet. Okay, so we've got the dry ingredients in there. Then I'm going to put the clover honey. So that gives it the necessary sweetness. It's great for dogs too that might react to certain foods, because honey's going to keep a pretty even keel glycemic index with your dog. So it's not going to get them too wound tight like sugar would, and it'll just kind of keep everything even keel, just like us, right? All right, put the oil in there. The egg. Make sure you break that yolk. And last but not least, the water. Oh, forgot that. Okay, and then I typically will fold the ingredients. It helps so that at home, if you're just mixing everything, sometimes the buckwheat will go everywhere. So I like to just fold. Now, a fold is just like it sounds. I'll show you right here. Okay, and then once you get some of the fold going, you can use the mighty whisk and whisk up those ingredients. Okay, what other questions do we have coming in?
One of the questions we got from Fetch Pet Care: what's a healthy treat if you feed your dog at home if you don't have time to bake?
You know what? So, good question. What's a healthy treat that you can grab just at a moment's notice without baking? I have a great example of this. My dog Zoe loves carrots, and what I do is I even skip a step, and instead of having fresh carrots that I chop up, I have organic frozen carrots in the freezer, and I'll pull out a couple frozen carrots, and she just goes berserk. She doesn't know the difference between a frozen carrot or a chocolate chip cookie, right? To her, they're both treats, and so that really works. Now, with that carrot, I give that to my dog Flip, my other dog Flip, and he could give a care about a carrot, but he loves an apple core. So after I eat an apple, I'll give him the core, and he's a big fan. So there are lots of healthy treats like that different dogs like. Some dogs like green beans, right? They're just like us. They like different things. So check those out. Okay, I have a question for all of you. What treats are you making at home for your dog? Do I have any pet chefs out there like myself that are baking for your dog? I'd love to know about it and what you're making and what your dog likes. Okay, you stir that up real good and keep going for a while. You see how you can still kind of see chunks in there? It's because everything isn't put together. This is just like any other brownie batter mix. You got to keep stirring it to make sure that it's consistent. Otherwise, you'll get pockets when you cook the brownie that will not, it won't come out right. So also, while you're doing this, make sure before you start this process or while you're doing this process, you preheat your oven to about 325 degrees. Now, if you're in the kitchen much, you'll know that different ovens have different temperatures, so know your oven. Sometimes you need to crank that down to 300, sometimes up to 350. It just depends on your oven. Here at the Dog Bakery, we have a pretty heavy-duty oven, and 300 covers it for us. Okay. Are we having fun? This is the most fun I've had on a Halloween morning, I'll tell you that right now. Okay, what other questions do we have? And then, while they're pulling up those questions, we're going to move to the next step, which is going to be taking the batter and putting it in the pan. From there, we'll put the pan in the oven, and we'll let that heat up, and then we'll answer some more questions. Okay, so I pretty much got this mixed up. You can see it's got a very smooth consistency now. It doesn't take too long, but that's pretty consistent. So I'm going to teach you a little trick. No extra charge for this. And by the way, you should use this if you're cooking for your pet or you're cooking for yourself. The number one thing you should have in your kitchen, tool-wise, is an ice cream scooper. Now, not only can it come in handy for ice cream when you want it, but it also comes in really handy with baking because it gives you even consistent sizes, right? I used to, before I started using this, I used to just use a spoon and hope that the size worked out. And I use this, and it also cleans it because if you get the scooper that swipes it, it works much better. Okay, so let me do a little prep work here and clean some of this up. Clean as you go. That's what Mom taught me. Okay. Sweet potato chips. No, I mean sweet potato chips are really great. I completely agree with you. It's easy. It doesn't take long, and it has that sweetness that is really good for dogs' palatability. When they put their tongue on that sweet potato chip, it usually goes over really great. Okay, so here we've got the pan, and what you'll do is you'll scoop it. Now you see how it's kind of sticky and messy. So what I like to do is just go right up against the pan and just kind of tear it off right there and then put it right there in the pan. And this will give you the same consistent, even-sized brownies, so when they come out, they're all level, and everyone in the neighborhood will know that you're an expert. Okay, what other questions? You know what, Chad, I appreciate you asking, and yes, I dress my dogs up for Halloween. My favorite one so far has been the Minions. I dressed Flip, my dog, my boxer rescue, up as Gru, and then my two little guys as little Minions, and I'm pretty sure they loved it.
Where can we see that photo?
You know what? You can go to my Facebook page, which is Rocky Kanaka, and I think I've got it on there. If not, I'll make sure that I post it. That was a couple of years ago. I've had him in all kinds of ridiculous outfits, but I'll make sure I post that one since I happen to mention it.
What is a serving size of the Barkin brownie for a medium-sized dog?
Yeah, so good question. Serving sizes are a little challenging for dogs because a lot of times dogs are classified into small, medium, and large. And as you well know, your dog is probably not small, medium, or large, right? Could be extra, extra small, or a little above medium, or below large, right? So serving sizes are really, really challenging. I always err on the caution of less is more, right? So if I have a boxer Flip who's he's about 70 pounds, and I could definitely give him a whole brownie, but I typically start with half, right? And why not? Because it's not going to hurt. And if he fares with that, then the next day I can give him a half, or I can give him a whole. So just kind of go in moderation, and you'll know. You can kind of tell by your dog. My little guy Snoop, he's a little min pin Chihuahua. he, in his mind, believes he should get a full brownie, but really giving him, 2 or 3 bites of the brownie is plenty for him, because, if he puts on a pound of weight, all of a sudden now he's overweight because he's only 8 pounds. So just be mindful, and less is always more.
We got another good question. What kind of ingredients should we avoid for our dogs? And to go with that is molasses.
Yeah, that's a good question, and there's there are a bunch of lines with these ingredients too. For example, strawberry. Sometimes that can be hazardous to dogs, but it's typically just the seeds, and that's not always the case. It just depends on your dogs. There are things that are just an absolute no. Chocolate being one of those. Halloween, you have to make sure you're putting candy up high, because chocolate, it will kill your dog. I've had people before say, "Oh, my dog, I think he had a tolerance built up." Guys, it doesn't work that way, I promise you. In fact, the more chocolate they have, the more likely they are for that to build up in their system, and it'll get them. Use carob instead, right? Carob doesn't have theobromine in it, which is the poisonous part to dogs, the part that the dogs cannot process. So feel free to talk to your vet on that. Other things that dogs typically want to stay away from that can just create havoc, and again, not always the case, like if you were to give your dog an entire avocado, that could cause some problems, or onion, or things like that. But again, it varies by dog, so just be mindful of that. Okay, look, I'm down to 2 right now. I'm getting low on my batter, so I've got to try to squeeze out the last 2, and I think I can do it. Look, it doesn't look like much, but I can make it happen. I've been baking now for dogs for about 10 years, and I have definitely made batter stretch once or twice.
Hey, Rocky.
Yeah.
Do you ever taste any of your dog recipes?
Haha, that's a good question. Let me answer that question for you right now. Delicious. You know what it tastes like? The buckwheat makes it taste like a buckwheat pancake. It's really good. And when stuff comes out of the oven, it's always delicious because that honey is warm and it tastes good. So I can eat it all. Look, if I can't eat it, then it shouldn't be in my kitchen. So that's really important. It's just a good rule of thumb. So many people are used to dog food being for dogs, but their systems work just like us. It should be good food just like we eat, right? So we're completely rewriting the script on that. Okay, so I now have all of my batter in. I'm going to throw that in the oven. Make sure that your oven is preheated, and we're a little short on that one, but I think we'll be okay. We'll have a mini brownie, and then the rest will be just perfect. So throw that in the oven. Make sure it's preheated. Okay. Can I introduce Sarah real quick? Sarah, come here. Yay! All right. I couldn't do this without Sarah. I did not just wake up this morning and have all of this magically ready. She helped me out, so thank you.
Of course.
Okay. She's the dog bakery sous chef, pet chef. Is there such a thing? I think so. I'd like to think so. Okay. So for Facebook Live purposes, we have fast-tracked this, and first I want to answer any outstanding questions. Any good questions out there, team? While you're looking up those, I want to fast-track this and show you, after they come out of the oven, this is what they're going to look like. It's going to be a delicious brownie, just like this, fluffy. I'll show you. It's soft, right? Just like a brownie that you would eat or you would buy. And this is so much healthier for your dog and for you than a lot of the brownies you can get at the grocery store. So then you've got some finishing steps. Now in the bakery we have some bigger batch systems that we use. So we use a broiler to warm up our carob. Now this is what carob comes to us like. These are carob chips. For me, it's really important to try to find natural, unsweetened carob chips. It just takes the sugar out of there, and a little sugar is not going to hurt your dog. But the less sugar that you introduce, the better. So these are natural, unsweetened carob chips. You put them in a broiler and let them melt. They will obviously do that with heat. Another way to do it is put it in the microwave. I bet a minute is probably going to be about the right time. Every 30 seconds, check it though, just to make sure, because you don't want to burn the carob. If you burn the carob, you'll know it will smell like burnt carob. There is a smell that is not very fun. Okay, so you can buy carob at natural food stores. That's the best place. You know, check on Amazon and if you're shopping online, but natural places will have unsweetened carob. Okay, so what we're going to do, very simple. You take the brownie, this is the easiest, one of the most fun parts, and you dip it in the carob that I've preheated. Just go right there. And look at that. A beautiful dipped carob brownie. So do that one more time. Just dip it right in there. There we go. We've got one more. Finish this one up. Okay. So you've got them dipped. Now, the next step and the final step and the most fun part, we've got to make them Halloween, right? So how do we get that orange color for my famous Barkin brownies? I'll show you. So here we've got some orange stripes that just go across. This is for decoration because trust me, if you don't have that decoration on there, dogs will not eat it. That's a joke. Obviously, they'll eat it because it tastes good no matter what. But it just makes it fun. It makes it fancy. Okay, so orange. How do you get the orange on there? Now, first, the way the treat is now, the carob dip brownie, it is perfect. Feel free to stop right there and give that to your dog. If you want to make it a little more fancy, if you want to show off to your friends, if it makes you feel good like it does for me, then you can add seasonal colors to it. Now, when you start getting into color, you're going to have to add a little bit of dye or a little bit of sugar. This is in such a small amount that it's not harmful for dogs, but you're welcome to also not do this. Where do you get the color? First, you can use yogurt chips, right? Just white, unsweetened yogurt chips work just fine, and then you can find some natural food dye coloring. Another easier way to do it that I grabbed for you just to make it simple is you can get the chips at any candy store, right? And then you can do any color. This is a lot of chips right here. You know, on any given treat, that drizzle right there would probably be about that much of that chip. So it's not much, and it's not gonna be harmful for dogs. Again, I like staying away from sugar for pets. Try to for myself as much as I can, but a little bit, it's not going to hurt anyone. So how do you get the stripes on here? Well, at the dog bakery, we use a fancy method where we roll this, and this has been from years of practice, and it's just a little paraffin wax. You just roll it up, you cut off the tip, and then you can simply just go back and forth right over the brownie. Well, it's my favorite treat for me is sharing one of these Barkin brownies with my dogs. After that, I mean, the list doesn't stop, right? I mean, you put any sort of Halloween anything in front of me, and I'll eat it. So it's more about trying to avoid the Halloween candy bowl at the office. Sometimes that'll get stuck, so you just squeeze it a little bit and then restart it. Okay, now, if you don't have one of these or you make it and it just doesn't work out, you can also put some on a spoon and just drizzle it with a spoon. So there are other ways to do that. But that's it. Look. Voila. We have a Barkin brownie, Halloween edition. What do you think? Give me a heart or a thumbs up or a like if you like this and this is something that you'll make at home for your dog. Oh, there we go. I'm feeling love now.
Kara says she's not a good pet chef. Where can she buy
Yeah.
a Barkin brownie?
If you're not a good pet chef, that's okay. It took me years and years and years, and I still mess up all of the time. You can get it at thedogbakery.com. We'll put that information down below. And I want to thank all of you for watching this. Feel free to share it with everyone. Another question?
We have one more question. From Chad Grove. Will we expect another live event for Thanksgiving?
Yes, you know what? We do this every season. The fun part about cooking for your dog is it's like family, right? It's just like cooking for family, and pets are a part of our family. So every season, I always suggest doing something for pets. Right now I have the Barkin Brownie Halloween edition. For Thanksgiving, one of my favorites, we have the big Thanksgiving feast, and we make a Thanksgiving beef Wellington or a pot pie. We put carobs with it, spinach dip, all kinds of treats. So make sure that you check us out for Thanksgiving, because that Thanksgiving we have a wait list that builds up fast, and we sell out fast because we do an entire Thanksgiving dinner for your pet. So while you're eating your Thanksgiving dinner, you can have a Thanksgiving dinner for your pet. So feel free, you can go on to the Dog Bakery too and sign up for the email list, and that way you'll be one of the first to be notified. Or just follow me, Rocky Kanaka, or the Dog Bakery on our Facebook pages, and you'll see it there. Again, most of all, I want to thank Fetch Pet Care for really helping share this recipe, because having dogs eat healthy is a great way to live life and have them be a part of the family. So thanks everyone for being a part of this. I love it. Share this with everyone, and feel free to ask me questions below. I do respond. I'll even go on Fetch's website and I'll jump on there and respond as much as I can. So I'm here if you have any questions. Okay, happy Halloween.